If you wouldn't mind, how did you, fall in love with the game? What's your past in the game, and when did it all start for you?
From a very young age, obviously, like most baseball people, it starts from a very young age. And for me, my dad was a big baseball connoisseur, so it was always around me. He was always teaching me the nuances of the game, and I fell in love with it more going to his adult league baseball games, kind of following him around, and seeing him kind of give up his career to follow me into the beginning of travel ball at that time. I think the only team in our area was like the Columbus Cobras at that time. And so I've kind of seen travel baseball, blossom. But for me, just falling in love with the game from a young age was, a huge part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, tell me about your playing days. Where did you end up? Where'd you play?
I played 3 years at Notre Dame College up in Cleveland, Ohio, Division II. And then I finished my senior year at Rio Grande College, my senior year for with Brad Warnemont down at Rio Grande.
Awesome. That's great. Well, I ended up finishing my career at Division II school as well, and wouldn't have traded the time there for anything. I think, one thing in today's day and age is you do, hear a lot about this Division 1 or bust. And I know, one thing that I know you guys do a good job of, and that we're trying to spread the word at the Diamond Allegiance, is obviously there's a lot of good baseball at a lot of different levels. So we both lived that, obviously. So. Um,
Absolutely.
so tell me about the Midwest Marlins. When did you guys start? How did it start? And just, I guess, give me the birth story.
Yeah, I guess we started as I was finishing playing at Rio Grande. So I kind of got into personal training as I was playing in college. So I was already kind of coaching. I was around players. I was already slowly starting to fall in love with the game more into coaching than I maybe was as a player. So as that was starting to fade, my mom was a fitness director at the YMCA. So I had the opportunity and the resources kind of provided for me to get the kids more into training and development, right? And at that time in 2011, I don't know how many high school teams were even doing off-season training, right? They just showed up in February and they did tryouts. So not to say we were changing the game at that point, but I think a lot of the things slowly started to explode with development very quickly as tech started to show what guys could do and couldn't do, right? So at 2011, we started the initial year of the Midwest Marlins with two teams, and then it quickly expanded. And now we're at 16 baseball teams and four softball teams. So it's grown, and we've tried to control the growth at some point so that we could focus on the development. We didn't want a product out there that didn't, uphold our brand or our name or our standards. And at the same point, as we've started to grow, we realized just like there's a need to help more kids, right? So we want to make sure that we can be more available. So I think that's something that we really are excited about with Diamond Allegiance. Not to get ahead of myself, but we realize that if we're going to do this the right way and growing to help more kids and get more kids in scholarships and to, take care of their bodies, we're going to need more people to have an eye on them, and watching them closely and help us with that. So we're very, very excited.
All right, that's a great segue. So, tell me a little bit about you as a coach, right? Obviously, started in personal training, but what are your expertise? What is your focus? And then the question after that is, obviously going from two teams to 16 teams plus four softball teams, so essentially 10xing the size of your organization, right? You got to have some good people around you. So I'd love to hear first about you, what you specialize in, and then, give me some of the really key people that you work with at the Midwest Marlins.
Absolutely. When it comes to myself, I guess my biggest thing is that I'm willing to be down on the ground, right? I'm the CEO of the company, but my expertise is that I'll get in my car and I'll drive to a kid's recruiting visit, or I'll be on the ground with an 8-year-old player doing his front toss and training him. I don't have a lot of the resources that other national programs might have, right? My way that I'm different is I'll stay in my facility till 2 a.m., working with my players, spending time with them. So I've realized that I can't clone myself, right? So at some point, the kids are attached to players and coaches, and just like we all are. So coaches come and go. We have a lot of coaches that are in our program, and they get coaching. They were never had a coaching job before, and now they're coaching college baseball. Coming out of our program. So we've had a great job of also establishing coaches getting opportunities out of our program just as much as kids, getting opportunities. So I've had to really find ways to make myself available as much for the players as possible, and learn different avenues, right? So I'm even trying to get more into the pitching stuff. We got Merriman coming over tonight. We're very, very excited about that, and to learn, more and more of how that's even going to be a part of Curve, and some cool stuff there. So I'm all about learning. I guess that's my strength, I guess, and not realizing that there's one cookie cutter way to do this, and that a lot of these kids have different backgrounds, right? Some of them have financial strengths, some of them have athletic strengths, some of them have economic strengths, right? So we've always been trying to bridge that gap for a lot of places, for our players, because we get C, B level talent, and we try and turn them into A level players, and A level work ethic. So my strength is really just being there, and the people being able to utilize me. I feel like we're in this point because a lot of kids didn't pay for personal training. They didn't have to pay for these extra resources. So in some ways, I'm excited to put this thing in a position for a lot of my coaches, right? To where they can utilize Curve and all these coaches and the resources that are going to be available for them to empower them. Because a lot of people know good baseball, but people just blow by them because they don't have that background, right? They don't have that coaching rapport, or they haven't coached 10 years in the game. So when I started, a lot of people didn't give me a job. I was going to my legion that I played for, right? And they're like, oh, we have so many people qualified and so forth. So a lot of that stuff shook me a little bit, because I thought, man, if you played and you do this stuff, there should be some spot for you, right? So
Mhm.
I started to dive even deeper. Like, I'm going to create, circuit opportunities for coaches that are from the inner city, guys from different areas, because to me, that's what will change the game, is different outlooks, right? Of how did you get here? That's the story a lot of kids need to have, is how did you get here, right?
Yeah, no
So
doubt, Ryan. I think, obviously baseball gets talked about as being, America's game. And, I think what makes America so special is that it truly is a melting pot, right? And so, having people from different walks of life, coming together for a common goal is honestly what makes this game so amazing. And I think for me, you know, obviously one of the main tenets of the Diamond Allegiance is to provide this diversity and inclusion in this game. And so when we are able to come alongside people like you and to help with that type of thing, it fires me up. So um you talk about player development, staying with your players till 2 o'clock in the morning, right? So if I'm a player for the Midwest Marlins, right, what do I get, right? What does that look
a-
like?
absolutely. So if you're a Midwest Marlin player, we'll start our season. Right as summer ends, we're going right into fall ball, right? So it's a little bit different in Ohio than maybe like Florida and California and different places. We'll end our season, right? We're running tryouts right at the end of July, August. Youth teams, older teams, it's going to be August. September, we're relaunching. Okay, we're bringing everybody in the facility, talking about what we're doing, and then from that point, we've got guys in the facility, they're training. So we've got speed and agility that we're offering our players. We offer AXPAT programs. I'm very big in, barrel loaded training, variable training with our hitters, trying to change up different looks, higher velocity on the pitching machine, higher spin rate on the pitching machine. They can get in the facility and use that 6 to 7 days a week, right? But we also tailor programs that are set up for them to get in there and use that. So I don't mean to ramble on, but speed and agility, AXPAT programs. We've had arm care programs. We're trying to tailor that more into some of the Kinetic Pro stuff that we're seeing, so that the kids can utilize the apps. We'll have the bands, those kind of things set up for them. So we want our facility to be like almost like how we're getting with Curve now, right? To where it can just become a resource of the app, right? So if you can't be at our facility, well, now we know we can reach you, right? So we've
Yeah.
never really had that capability. So a lot of our stuff had to be come to the facility, and we have all these things for you. We have axe bats, we have drive line, we have Rapsodo hitting and pitching. We're diving into the profiles with them on those things. We partner with Win Reality. I am so big on Win Reality because I think it's the pitches that you don't swing at that make you a great hitter. So I'm trying to get all the families big on that. They're like, what happens when you hit the ball? It's out of the zone. I'm like, it's going to give you zone deficiency, right? Like if you're understanding how you're striding light and your eye level isn't changing, how great of a hitter you can be, right? So we're trying to get the kids really to dive into utilizing those components at home. But also they don't have to pay for it, right? So we have that all part of their package where just come be a part of the Marlins. And if you really want to be a great baseball and softball player, you got to kind of look inside of yourself now. So I think that's where we're at now as an organization. We got to kind of find a better way to explain this, because I could talk baseball and softball till I'm blue in the face, right? But some people have to go home and they have lives. So we've got to find a way it's simpler to get this message to them about all the great things that we can do for them and affect their kids. And everybody learns differently. You know, I was in college and my hitting coach at the time, I found out 2 years later, was a GA, and he was a pitching coach in college, you know, as a pitcher in college. So you have to realize sometimes you got to self-teach yourself some of these things. I didn't have a bad coach. He wasn't doing anything wrong. But at some point, you've got to realize you got some ownership in this thing, and you've got to take the wheel and you got to try and start steering it. So we're excited to put the power in their hands and say, we've got the right people. I've been around these guys. I've been in a room with them. These are the right people. You want them around your kids. So.
Yeah, Ryan, and you nailed it. I mean, I think whether it's the Curve app, whether it's a Rapsodo, whether it's a pitching machine, whatever it is, right? Those are all tools for a player to get better. But at the end of the day, players got to take their career under their own wing, right? And you know, I've had the blessing to be able to coach a lot of really, really good players. You know, nothing I did. I just happened to live in Florida, and there happens to be a lot of good players down here, right? But I think one thing that I learned over the years of coaching is that the most successful guys truly do take it upon themselves, and girls, right? And understand that it's their career, right? I know that myself as a coach, I'm a hitting guy, right? And the first time I hit with a new student, the first thing I tell them is I don't know everything, right? And if there's somebody that tells you that they know everything, then you should probably run and hide, right? And the second thing I tell them is my job when working with you is to help you understand your swing the best that you can, right? And so I'm not going to tell you one way to swing a bat or move your body, but we're going to understand what you do the most efficiently. We're going to understand what you don't do well, and we're going to tackle those things that you don't do well. So I think you're spot on. And I think it's amazing that you guys have, you know, honestly kind of on the forefront of investing in player development, right? I mean, all the tools are available to your players, right? All the way to Win VR, which is one of the more cutting edge things. The O'Dowd family has done a phenomenal job with that product. Great people. I was lucky enough to coach one of Dan's sons, who's at Texas right now. And you know, our facility was actually one of the first to test Win VR, and
Oh, wow.
Just an incredible product. And like you said, we had I don't mean to steal your thunder, but we had a podcast a couple months ago with the hitting coach Mike Early from Texas A&M, and you know, he was there for 1 year. They went from bottom of the SEC to the College World Series, and you know, they did have some turnover in players, but 60% of their starting lineup was essentially the same guys. And the biggest thing that they do there is they swing at strikes, and they swing at strikes all the time, whether it's batting practice, flips, you name it, they only swing at strikes. And that conversation really got me thinking in the way that I train my guys. So again, Win VR, swinging at the right pitches, knowing how to control the zone, such an important thing. So 2011, you guys started. It's 2023, I believe, last time I checked. In your mind, 5 years from now, what are the Midwest Marlins?
What we're hoping to be is more efficient at what we do, right? We would hope to be growing in the right ways. If that's more teams and more players, then that's great. If it's where we're at and we're creating a better product, then I'm just as excited about that. I think, like I said, one thing that we feel an obligation to is the players that are in our organization. So to look ahead, would it be that we have to think that we've done a great job with the people that we have right now? So I think that our focus is really trying to streamline the process, like with getting these kids pushed off. And I'd love to say in 5 years from now, we're in a bigger facility and we have more teams and we're continuing to grow and we're continuing to process players off of the things that we've done in the beginning of this. So I'd love to look back and say, man, 5 years was just the beginning of something that is going to explode, right? So we feel like that we're on the forefront of this. So we're very, very excited.
Absolutely, Ryan. Well, we'll end with this. Shameless plug for the Diamond Allegiance, but obviously I just want to make sure you know that we are super, super excited to have you guys involved. From the first time we spoke, the Diamond Allegiance is about the right people, and have people who are passionate about players, passionate about parents, and passionate about player development. And you fit that to a T. So first of all, just want to let you know that we're super excited to have you on board and part of this select group. So as a shameless plug, I would just like to know, from your end of things, right? What was it that really kind of made you decide like this is good. This is something that I want to be a part of.
Absolutely. I didn't get a chance to go too in of just some of my staff, but Travis Gray is a guy that we've brought on recently, and he's got great ideas. And at some point, you go so long into this thing, Matt, I'm sure you understand that you run out of uniform options, you run out of some creativity in some different areas. So he's been a blessing to the organization. He's helped keep me organized, made me a better coach and a better person. So the things that he's been able to incorporate, just even finding a little breadcrumb of this, right? Like the information with this stuff is, I think, meant to be found by the right people, right? So we were able to get some information, and obviously you guys with your blessings are to be a part of it. So I'm very, very excited about where we are. But I definitely would have to say that Travis has been a big part of getting us in a Marlins 2.0 mode, right? Of where we're trying to go and focus, because I think since COVID, things have changed a lot, right? And recruiting and how things move so quickly. So Travis has been in that field a lot in his lifestyle with his industry that he works in. So being able to bring some of that into what we're doing in the Marlins, I think is only going to make things better for a consumer standpoint, because I'm a baseball and softball guy, like I said, but I'm looking things more through a parent lens. And I think that's only going to make things better for everybody that's wearing this brand. So we're excited.